Hello, my valuable viewers. I'm happy to see you back on my channel. And today is 1st of March 2026. It means that February is over and it's a good time to observe what's been happening through February day by day so that you know why the prices of different assets that we will be checking today as well, why these prices are where they are now. So it's very important if you really want to succeed in trading, in investing, let's say, it's very important to follow news. You probably will agree, you will probably agree with me that, of course, every day a lot of things happening. Okay, politician speeches, economic reports, different type of events. Look what's happening right now, starting from yesterday. You probably aware of the war that started between Iran and Israel and US involved. So that is happening right now as we speak, okay? And that's obviously war is going. But starting from February, right? From the beginning of February, that's where you could see the signs of this war coming, right? That's something very important to take in your advantage. Information. Many people don't follow news on a daily basis because they work or they don't understand, let's say, how that news can impact the market. But all the news impact the market, different assets, and they create so-called supply and demand in the market. So supply and demand is the only thing that moves the prices either up or down. And of course, if you don't understand, right, what's going on, or if you see the news but you do not how to react on it, then it's yeah, the chances of you to succeed in trading are very slim. Let's put it that way, and let's be strictly honest. However, if you just follow the news on the daily basis, like for example, if you subscribe to my Telegram channel, on my Telegram channel, I'm posting the most important news without any, let's say, noise, without any unnecessary, let's say, things and stuff, but just the most important things that actually create market movements, right? Or expected to create, let's say, market movements in obviously with returns in terms of opportunities. So when you hear something, okay, something coming, or you see news being accumulating, or people more and more speak about something, then this is the time for you to react and maybe take advantage and buy or sell something. So this is something that we did last time, okay, by the end of January. So if you are not subscribed to my channel, please do that now so that you can go and obviously check January report as well. We've been going through January day by day using my Telegram channel. Exactly what we're going to do today. So, like I said, it's very important to understand what's going on in the market every day. Only then you're in a position to take advantage and understand what direction the price may continue to go. So imagine when you go and open your trading platform, right? You open your trading account and it's just right in front of you, and you see the price of gold, or you see the price of oil, or price of euro US dollar being at that specific price. Now, how do you know what direction to trade? Even though there's just two directions, either buy or sell. However, still, it's crucial to understand the right direction that your trade may go, right? And that's why you need to select, and selecting, let's say, a direction without understanding what the price now and what brought the price and from where the price came here. Did the price came here by dropping down from somewhere, or did the price came here by coming up from somewhere? So all that is unknown to you if you don't follow the news. And then you just need to decide now, right? You need to decide either buy or sell. And let's say you decide to buy. You're buying, but you don't know that the price is actually going down, and it's going down for quite some time now, right? So if you didn't know that you're buying, so that means you're trading against the trend. And that's where majority of people actually lose their money. So in order for you not to lose your money in trading, and in order for you to be, let's say, one step ahead of the markets, I really suggest you to subscribe here on my Telegram so that you can follow that news on the daily basis. Like I said, no hype, so it's not a lot of news, but the most important ones. So if you're trading, obviously, is something that you're taking seriously. If you're, I don't know, maybe using it for your secondary source of income, maybe primary source of income, you really need to have your finger on the pulse of the market. So my Telegram channel will allow you to do that. Okay, and that's something that we're gonna do today. We're gonna go and observe what happened through February, right? So therefore, we're gonna go to my Telegram channel, okay, and I'm gonna go and I'm gonna bring it here. Let me just bring it to 1st of February. Now, before we're gonna go to the 1st of February, okay, let's see what happened the last day of January. You see, on the last day of January 31st, U.S. Yeah, that's the news from the U.S. So troops are being moved towards Iran to kill the country's leadership. So you see, this is what's happening. I mean, this is started in the beginning of February, right? And you see, they were coming there to kill the Iranian leadership, and it happened, by the way, yesterday. So it happened yesterday, but this was already coming from beginning of January, right? So before we're gonna go and scroll down the Telegram, let's just see together, okay, where the news, so where the markets are now, right? What are the, let's say, prices of different assets in the market now? So therefore, we're gonna go and we're gonna check here, let's say, the markets. So look, today the market is closed because it's Sunday. So there's no trading at all, and just cryptos. Okay, so except cryptocurrencies are trading. And look at cryptocurrencies today. Bitcoin today gone up by 4%. Let's see, 2,500 Bitcoin is heading today. All cryptos are actually going up now, but the rest of the market is closed. Now, the reason why these type of conflicts are starting during the weekend, like for example, it started on Saturday. This time, last time on the Israel conflict with Iran was on the 13th of June, 2025. It was also Friday to Saturday, okay, and also when U.S. hit Iran with their nuclear, let's say, station or nuclear factory. Okay, that's also what's happening during Sunday. Okay, just so you understand, they do it. I mean, they start these conflicts for a reason during the weekend, so they do not create panic in the market. Because if they create that panic in the market, people don't know what to do, buy or sell, and what to buy and what to sell. So that could obviously lead to a huge crash. So in order for the governments, let's say, and specifically for US, all right, to avoid that, they just start this type of conflicts during the weekend. So they have time, let's say, for the markets to adjust and for the market participants to take advantage, let's say, of the knowledge of what's going on, so that they can react on Monday. And by the way, yesterday I was running a live session, and you can check it on my YouTube channel, a live session explaining that in case you have a trade open during the weekend when the market is closed, and of course when these type of things happen, and you do not you're unable to do anything. Okay, so you do not control now your trade, and now you're very much exposed to the market opening, which is going to be right on Monday, the first minutes. The market will open, and it will open with huge gaps when the prices will be completely different from the prices that were closing on Friday. And this is exactly what we're going to check today, how the prices closed on Friday. So if you look here, for example, and we look at currencies here, you see Euro US dollar on Friday was at 118, right? Basically 118. USD JPY 156. GBP USD 134. USD Canadian 136. Australian versus US dollar 0.7, 71, sorry. Okay, so this is the rates that you've seen last time on Friday. On Monday, these numbers will completely change. And now imagine if you are buying or selling, okay, by the time that the market will open, it will open with huge gaps because of a lot of, let's say, pre-orders that people or banks or hedge funds they're giving to the banks. So they're obviously placing that orders that will impact the market on Monday a lot. Now, we'll look at the currencies, look at indices. So if you can see, indices were going down even on Friday. Now, indices means companies, stocks. You see, all the US indices were going down heavily because the market was already preparing that this is going to happen. And it's not good, obviously, for, I mean, any sort of war is not good for the country. That's why you could see that even on Friday, that the indices were going down, like heavily down, right? All in red. Now, if you look at commodities, vice versa, commodities like gold, silver, right? Like even oil, right? These are something that been skyrocketing through Friday. You see gold gone up by $53, like 1%. Look at oil; it gone up by almost 3%, right? Adding like almost $2 in value. Now it's 67 for the crude oil and 72 for Brent oil, right? So by Monday, these prices gonna change a lot, right? Especially with what's going on now, in Iran, and they're closing obviously the delivery of oil in that region. Now, what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna go back to my Telegram, and what we're gonna do, we're gonna go step by step, observing what's been happening through the whole month of February, day by day. Okay, so doing that, what we're gonna do, we're gonna just simply discuss what's been going on, and let's get started. Okay, so let's look at the February 1st. Okay, three major waves of liquidation, totally 1.3 billion occurred in the crypto market over the past 24 hours. So this is concerned Bitcoin. Look, the Bitcoin price dropped down to $78,000. Mentioned, right? That was the beginning of February. Bitcoin was at 78,000. So you will see how much the price will be changing during month. Now, here the next one, okay? Trump has announced the launch of the Trump account program as part of the Big Beautiful Bill initiative. So under the program, from January 1st, 2025 to December 31st, 2028, every child born in the US will receive a deposit of 1,000 into a special tax incentivized investment account. So the fund will be invested in the US stock index fund, such as tracking S&P 500 for long-term growth. And access to the accumulated savings will be granted upon turning 18 years old. Parents and guardians will be able to make additional annual contributions up to 5,000 without tax implication. Now, why this is important for you to understand? Now, during during COVID, I don't know if you heard, but during COVID, what the US did, because the market was in a very bad state. So, what the US did, they started to give people money just like that. They call that helicopter money, right? So, taking that money, people were taking this money and they're putting that money back to the market, because Americans, they are very much, like they have very, let's say, strong habits of investing their free capital, right? So they keep investing it everywhere. So and specifically in the U.S. stocks. So that basically made the stock market to skyrocket during the after the COVID, right? After the huge drop. So now what's happening now is that Donald Trump is is offering to give another 1,000. So this is just for you to have an idea of possible liquidity. Okay, going also into the stock market in the U.S. just for you to give it as a signal that this is one of the small signals that you just read here and there and there and there, and then you put that into a picture that gives you an ability to either buy something on the early stage, and that's where you need to be. You don't need to buy something when the price already reacted, when the price is already high. You need to go there as an investor, right? You just simply need to be on the early stage so that the whole, let's say, hype that will start, you're going to take it into your pocket. Do you understand what I mean? Right. So let's move forward. Okay. Moving forward, countries. All right. Stockpiling the most gold. Right. So here we just see countries that's purchasing gold the most, and we can see that's obviously China, India. Okay. The largest gold buyers over the 25 years. Russia, China, India, Turkey, Poland, okay, countries that's buying gold heavily in the last 25 years. And we can understand why they are just getting rid of dollar. Now, going next, South African stocks hit a new record amid rising metal, silver, and gold prices. So, South African stocks, all right, and South African indices could be also a very good opportunity for you to trade in 2026, because South African economy is pretty much exporting a lot of commodities, and they're getting a lot, let's say, of money from gold. They have a lot of mines and stuff like that. So if you're looking to invest into specific, let's say, index, South African indices might be a good part of your investment. Now, commodities. Some experts do not rule out that 2026 could be a year of strong growth for commodities market. That's what I was just telling you now. So commodities are very good, let's say, a class of asset to consider. Now, dollar depreciation. The sharp decline in the dollar exchange rate stands out noticeably against other global currencies. So the dollar is going down, and this is obviously not a secret anymore. During my last observation of January, okay, I was showing you a lot of, let's say, signs of that. But again, you see dollar depreciation is going really huge against Swedish krona by almost like 25%, right? So it means that the dollar is going down. So we're going next. Precious metals prices hit new highs. So you can see here gold was coming to $5,600. Silver hit $119 per troy ounce. And then they dropped down, okay, looking like this Burj Khalifa. Anyway, so it's basically was a correction in the markets. Okay, after a huge rally, there was a drop. Okay, in both of the metals, but now they're going back anyway. So OpenAI has announced its intentions to conduct an initial public offering (IPO). This could be also a good opportunity for those who trade IPO because it's OpenAI now. It's still a private company, and OpenAI it's ChatGPT, right? For those that don't understand. Okay, so they are going to IPO. They want to become public. It means that if they become public, they will allow other investors, let's say not just let's say private investors, but public investors as well as you, by the way, to go and buy the shares. So they want to bring more capital to develop more. So keep an eye on this. This might be a good opportunity for you to take advantage of that. Now, this is a thought of the day, of that day, of the 1st of February. Don't let money sit idle. Okay, so do not let your money sit idle. So extra funds should either protect you, reserve, or grow like investments, right? Otherwise, they quietly lose value. And this is something that we just discussed now about dollar, right? Depreciation. So if you just keep your money sitting idle, either on your bank accounts where you just not even covering your inflation rate, or you have it under your, I don't know, pillow or your mattress, okay? I don't know where you hold your free cash. So if your money is sitting idle, they just simply lose value, right? Because inflation is eating the value, and whatever the value is now, in a month, in a year, it's going to be completely different value. So buying power going down. Now, February 2nd, Bitcoin price 76,000, all right, dropped down almost 3,000, all right, on the 2nd of February. US dollar index that measures the strength of dollar is at 97, right? We can see that stock markets, as we can see, all the indices, Nikkei 225, Euro stocks, S&P stocks. So look, indices, as okay, look, if you are not subscribed to me, you probably don't know that. But if you subscribe to me and then every time I'm giving you something new, okay, you're not going to have any sort of questions to ask because now maybe you don't know what index is, okay? But I did explain it on my previous videos so that you could watch them and of course, you could next time know what is it. But index is the basket of biggest companies inside specific country, right? And the number of them. So index measures the performance of biggest companies. So when you look at index, let's say Nikkei 225, that's 225 biggest companies in Japan. And you see the index going down. It means that the all the companies, biggest companies, going down. It means that was something bad in Japan back then. So this is why it's important to check indices because they give you an idea on what direction the market, the stock market is moving. Now, moving forward, oil was at $66. Okay, gold was at $4,600. Silver was at $76. All right. Now, moving forward, okay, the sell-off in the market continues. Gold gone down. That was 2nd of February. So gold dropped down by 5%. Silver dropped down by 10%. Platinum 7. So it was a huge drop down. Bitcoin tested 75. S&P 500. 500 biggest companies in the US. Okay, they were testing the weekly lows. Now we can see that Bitcoin dropped down to 76,000. Okay, that was a huge drop. And then we'll look at the beginning of the, so this is February 2nd. On the February 2nd, let's say every beginning of the week, what I do, I post the economic calendar, which is very important to have in your arsenal if you're trading in the market or if you're investing, because economic calendar allows you to know in advance all the economic reports, like for example, inflation rates, let's say interest rate decisions. I mean, reports that create huge movements in the market. So you can check these reports in advance and you will be in a position to either react after the report, or you may want to actually know what the report is, which report is coming, and how it may react on your trade, for example, so that you can take advantage of that knowledge and protect yourself, okay, or use it in your advantage to make some money, okay. So yeah, moving forward. So if you check, let's say if you subscribe to my Telegram, you will be receiving these reports every week, so you know a week ahead of all the specific reports that are coming, and that will be shaking the markets. Okay, so you can see here the reports, what this report's about. Okay, and of course you can see a specific time. Moving forward, all right, fear and greed index in the market. It was at 14. Fear and greed index, it measures the sentiment of people, okay, and it's being obviously calculated based on the poll and stuff. So at this point of time, as we're talking about 2nd of February, it was at 14, which is very low, and it's obviously extreme fear. Now, we're going next, and we see opportunities, right? So below their all-time highs, and we see Google, right, is basically now at its all-time high. S&P 500 is 1% below its all-time high. Amazon 8%, Nvidia 10%, Meta, which is Facebook, 10% gold, 13%, and so on. Like, and for example, Millennia Coin 99. Yeah. So what does it mean? It means that, for example, like Nvidia, 10% from all-time high. It's an opportunity, like at least 10% for it to go back to the all-time high. Because what usually happens when the price hits the all-time high, it goes down. People taking money out, people cashing out, so okay, called profit taking, and then the price goes back to the all-time high and goes higher, right? So if you check it over there, you will see what kind of opportunities you could take advantage of. Now, oil is falling sharply along with the broader markets, also falling. Axios report that Trump indeed wants to negotiate with Iran. So oil futures in China fell 7%, triggering limit down trading halts. Now, you see, Trump indeed wants to negotiate with Iran. That's what he was saying in the beginning of February, and that's why oil dropped down. Now, Trump is determined to launch a large scale strike against Iran. Israeli media are again writing extensively about it. Yet, Trump claims that Iran is seriously negotiating with the US. You see, so he was saying that they're negotiating, but as he always does, he's just going on strikes without any negotiations. Now, then we go down. This signal that I was giving to buy GBP USD. This is based on technical analysis. So if you want to trade, let's say, and you keen to trade and you don't know, but you want to start from something, I offering you some signals on my Telegram channel. You have access to them, so you can take advantage of something going technically, right? Now, moving forward, all right, only 30% of poly market trading addresses showed profitability. So, you know, it's very common now, right, that people go and put bets on different things that about to happen, okay, different events or things. So it seems that just 30% of people that putting that bets making money, right? So show some profitability. Majority of them lose money, just like in regular trading. You see, like about 80% to 90% of people lose money in trading, while the other 20, let's say, making money. So that's similar to what's happening now. Okay, so markets opening on Monday. You see, so, yeah. Bear is coming in, and it means like all the investors are running away, okay, because everything was falling down. Okay, Nvidia bought some shares on Intel. Okay, so Intel price has gone up. Okay, when somebody is buying your shares, it's usually a good sign for the market. Australian Japanese yen was a sell recommendation over there based on technical analysis. You see, it was going so much up, right, at this level when it actually hit the same level of the resistance last time. So it was a huge resistance and it tested it. So the expectation was to go down. Okay, that's why the signal was on a sell. Okay, and also remember in the market they say that whatever goes down a lot has to go up, and whatever goes up a lot has to go down, right? So again, some signals for that day. And okay, earnings season for quarter continues in the US. I was explaining to you on my previous January report that now it's the time of US companies reporting how much money they made in the last 3 months, October, November, and December. And as you can see, 75% of that companies already beat expectations on their earning per share, and 65 beat the expectations on their revenue. So it means that they are basically doing quite well and making money in the last 3 months. Now, some more signals on the 3rd of February, okay, for buying a US dollar, Japanese yen, Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar, US dollar, and so on. Okay, now trading. Give me a moment. Okay, here we go. Yeah, so trading now. Wait a second. No, okay. Here we go. Well, let's move forward. So, look, trading volume in the world's largest gold and silver ETF. Last Friday, small show. So you see gold and silver ETFs, exchange traded funds, going higher. Okay, now global silver prices are at historical record level. That's about silver going up. Now, this is the 3rd of February. Bitcoin price 78,900, gone up by 2,500. You see dollar index 97, right? Look at the stock markets, right? By observing indices, quite mixed market. Brent oil at $66. Okay, gold at 4,828, gone up by 176, and silver at 83. So this is going up, right? And then you see gold 6% up, silver 10% up, okay, platinum 6, and aluminum 1. Now moving forward, last week hedge funds and asset managers sold and shorted the US dollar at the fastest pace in 2 years. Goldman Sachs, they selling dollars. This is something that we keep seeing and seeing every single time, every single, let's say, report that I'm reading, okay, here and there. It's actually signals that they are selling dollars. Dollar is actually losing value a lot. Now, a thought of that day was, do not compare your finances with others. Compare them with yourself yesterday, right? Growth begins where there is a progress, not a race. And especially in investing. Investment is not a race, okay? It's a marathon. So if you're looking to make some money, okay, just like this, let's say, thought says, don't compare yourself with anyone else, but compare yourself, right, with yourself, okay, and with your progress from yesterday up until today. Now, Bitcoin, 4th of February, Bitcoin is at 76,000, gone down by 2,000. Okay, US index, okay, going at 97. Brent, $67, right? Gold, 5,087, right? Some signals for a day, right? And look, this is a very interesting thing. Okay, look at this. A single video turned out to be enough to generate income for years. 9 years ago, the author uploaded 10-hour video of burning fireplace on YouTube and never posted anything else. Now, this clip earns him up to $200,000 per year. It receives over 2 million views monthly, and traffic spikes in December when users play it in the background. You see? So if you're looking to make money in somehow, right? Sometimes it's enough to do something very simple that you don't even expect, and it can be feeding you for the rest of your life. Now, fear and greed index at 14. You see, still at very low level. Okay, so Donald Trump financial ascent since taking office. Donald Trump fortune has nearly tripled due to investment in cryptocurrencies. So that's how much Donald Trump is making since he became president. So you see, from 2.3, he's now at 6.3 billion dollars in worth. Right now, U.S. average wage compared to house pricing, 1925, 2024. So you see how much the home prices were going higher, okay, versus the salaries. Okay, so you see that the salary at some point was enough to buy the house, but then situation changed so much, and now the salary, starting from 9050, the salary is barely, okay, helping you to save for a house. That means that's yeah, it's a very the cost of living is very expensive, right? Getting expensive. The U.S. Federal Reserve drastically increases banking system liquidity. The Federal Reserve urgently pumped a record 31 billion into banking sector overnight repo operation. So look, this is the largest influx of liquidity in recent times, even greater than the peak of the dot-com bubble during the COVID-19 pandemic. It means that they're pumping money into the financial system. They're just printing money. And this is why one of the reasons why the dollar is going down, because it's a huge inflation over there. They keep printing money. So just for you to have it also as a sign of what's going on with the dollar on the longer run. Fear levels in Bitcoin right now are extremely high. So the crowd expects an imminent drop to 50,000. That's what they expect of Bitcoin to go. Nasdaq drops down, you see, at that point of time by 2.2%. Huge drop. Okay, so what we see, a sharp recovery in the precious metals market, gold, right, gone up by 17%, adding $4 trillion. You see, within one day, right, crazy. Silver by 26%. Right, look at this. Bitcoin dropped down by 5,000 to 71,000. Right, that's huge. Now look at this. Gold gone down by $60. Right, silver gone down. So you see, everything was going down back then. Now look, that was on the 5th of February. It's time to immediately leave all countries that host US bases in the Persian Gulf region. And that was coming. Iranians were writing that in the time to immediately leave all countries. So you see, that was on the on the 5th of February. Okay, all the countries started to announce leaving their, let's say, for their citizens to leave different countries, and that will be going and going. Okay, until what happened yesterday. Now, moving forward, some signals: Euro GBP by now, Euro AUD by now. Okay, now, okay, this is while Trump talks about success. More and more signals of impending crisis are emerging in the country's financial system. On the last day of 2025, the Federal Reserve injected a struggling 31 billion into the US banking system. That's what we just said again, right? So they're just pumping money. Regional banking crisis in the US. In 2026, the first major bank failure occurred. Chicago's Metropolitan Capital Bank and Trust, Illinois state regulators closed the institution due to insufficient capital. You understand now why they're pumping money into the system? Because there's no money, all right? Banks do not have enough liquidity and they need to be closing down. So that's why the government is giving them some money just to support them. But where do they take this money? Majority of that coming from printing money. US faces debt refinancing. So this year, the United States must refinance trillions of dollars of government debt accumulated during an era of extremely low interest rates. So the US now is in a huge debt, and you probably know that, okay? So they have to repay that debt every single month, right? And in 2020 and to 2026, basically, you see they're about to repay for trillions of dollars. Now, the pizza index at the Pentagon has spiked again ahead of the Venezuela attack, according to the Pentagon Pizza Index portal. Now, these are also there's a lot of let's say indicators that people use for trade, but there's also one for indicator for pizza, right? Domino's Pizza that is measuring the number of orders around the area of the Pentagon, and when they see the spikes of let's say orders, right, around Pentagon, it means that in Pentagon something happens, and it means that they're planning something. That's why they're not going home, but they're ordering pizza for their teams and stuff like that. So some people track that pizza index, and when they see that it skyrockets, let's say, going higher, right, they are waiting for something to happen in the market. Okay, so that means that there's going to be some sort of a strike or something happening there. All right. Moving forward, Bitcoin dropped down to 68,000. Okay, pretty much what it shows. 100 major public companies now hold more than 1 million Bitcoins on their balance sheets. So this is a list of companies whose stocks would be crushed in the event of sharp drop in Bitcoin. So imagine in 2025, a lot of companies were buying Bitcoins on their balances. Okay, so they were expecting that Bitcoin prices would go to millions and they're gonna make their companies prosper. But in fact, Bitcoin dropping a lot right now. Okay, and it's already lost like a half of this valuation since 2025. And there's a list of companies like Strategy, like Mara Holdings, like 21 Capital, like Metaplanet. Okay, they're holding like thousands and thousands of Bitcoins on the balances. And when the price of Bitcoin is going down, they suffering loss. So that means that they're running out of like liquidity. And if Bitcoin will continue dropping down, a lot of companies are in a position to get bankrupt. Okay, so keep that in mind as well. It's very important to understand what your company is investing, what capital they possess, so that you can assess the risk. All right. Now, Nasdaq down. Right, and then the thought of the day: start the year with a simple plan and a firm intention. Define goals, build a reserve, and promise yourself consistently. It is consistency that will turn the new year into a year of financial growth and confidence. Well, just a thought of the day, right? And I agree with that. Look, 67,000 for Bitcoin, right? And then 66,000 for Bitcoin, okay? And then 65,000 for Bitcoin, right? And then 64,000 for Bitcoin. You see 63,000 for Bitcoin, okay? And you see all crypto markets, okay? Shares of several major cryptocurrencies, crypto companies. That's exactly what I was telling you just now. Shares of several major crypto companies as a percentage of their all-time highs all have deflated in a few months. You see companies that being holding that, something that I was showing you, right? You don't see that much because it's a huge list of companies with very small names on that. But you can see, let's say Galaxy, right, that is buying, let's say, Bitcoins on the strategy, basically, that is buying Bitcoin on the reserves. Okay, look how much they're down. MicroStrategy is down 80%. It's the company that mostly buying Bitcoins, right? So from their all-time highs. So this is why Bitcoin going down. And you see companies, right? Companies, you could be buying shares, but you don't understand where this company is investing their own money. And that's where you're getting yourself in that type of risk when you don't really check where you're investing, okay? Now, moving forward, that was 6th of February, Bitcoin at 64,000, losing 6,500 within that day, right? On the 6th of February, it was losing 6,500, okay? Now we can see that the crypto market price, right, was going down. But look, 66 and a half down, 6,500 down for Bitcoin at 64,000. Look at Brent oil 67. All right, we look at gold at 4,800, silver $72. Right, so you see all the crypto market is down. Okay, the crypto market is in the complete disarray. Okay, Bitcoin has already plunged below 67. The cryptocurrency is plummeting due to the potential ties with Israel. Okay, so the crypto market now has capitalization below $2.5 trillion. So the crypto market was going down because of that tensions between Israel and Iran. And today, remember we checked that in the beginning, right, of this session. Okay, today it was skyrocketing. Now, okay, so look at this. This is 6th of February. The U.S. Embassy warned citizens leave Iran immediately. So 6th of February, they were saying leave Iran immediately because something is coming. Now, metal price forecast through 2026. In 2026, the most significant price increases are forecasted for copper, 20%, uh, titanium 16, aluminum 12, right, relative to 2025 averages. So according to Reuters. Now, so if you're investing in commodities, good opportunity for you. Okay, go for it. Now, global currency dynamics. The U.S. dollar shares of global foreign exchange reserves has fallen to its lowest level in century, dropping to 41%, down from 61 over the past quarter century. So in 2025, the US dollar index declined by 9%, marking the most significant drop since 2017. So what I'm trying to explain here, right, with this post is that US dollar is in the dangerous dollar, right? So you see, The Economist, the dangerous dollar. The Economist writes about an upside down world where the dollar is no longer seen as a safe haven, and investors must now get used to looking for alternatives. That's to basically articles about the same thing, dollar going down. Now, let's move forward. Macron plans to discuss the excessive strengthening of the euro at the next week on summit. Right, Tom Lee company Bitmine has unrealized loss exceeding 8 billion due to its investment in ETH. So this is the company that is heavily investing in Ethereum, and considering the price of cryptocurrencies going down, 8 billion in unrealized loss. It means that they are running low at $8 billion. So GBP USD buy now. Okay, good opportunity to buy. Euro GBP sell. Okay, CHF JPY buy opportunity, huge upward trend over there. Now, if you, like I said, trading signals are there, go and take advantage of them. Right, good signals, very good and very positive ones, so you can take advantage. Now, the US debt is growing steadily without interruptions on schedule, like clockwork. You see, 8%, 6%, 8%, 7%, 6%. So the debt is keep rising, but if it keep rising, it means that the payoffs of the debt keep rising as well. Okay, and at some point, all right, the market can go, and it will go at the situation that they cannot repay the debt. That's where the defaults happen. So now China is actively pumping liquidity into its system. So China is what they do. They also printing money. Same thing what US is doing now. MicroStrategy unrealized loss from BTS Bitcoin investments has exceeded 6.4 billion. Same happened to this guy. Like I said before, he's investing in Bitcoin. That was investing in Ethereum. So also their investments sitting down, their company sitting down. Now, amidst the January stock market rally, China is seeing a surge in new brokerage account opening by retail investors. So a lot of retail investors, just like you, okay, probably that's the reason you're watching it now, because you want to trade. You're interested in trading. So retail investors going now towards brokerage firms. So they want to access capital markets themselves, because now they can do it. Now you, if you have your trading account open now, already have your access. That's something that I was explaining on one of my videos that you can check on my YouTube channel. Access that you get. So by opening your trading account, you get access to the capital market. And a lot of retail investors now go to the capital market to make some money, because people looking for extra income. Now, if we look here, Dow Jones was going up, S&P was going up a lot. Okay, Nikkei, basically Japanese indices were going up, and European indices. Everything was going well on the 6th of January, or February, sorry. On the 6th of February, okay, you see everything was positive. Gold up, silver up, platinum up, and stuff. Now, the S&P 500 will continue to rise in 2026, according to analysts. Experts expect the S&P 500 gain up to 20% this year. Remember, S&P 500, that's 500 biggest companies in the US. So if you're looking to invest in the stock market, US S&P 500 could be a good opportunity for you to consider. Now, Deutsche Bank joins JP Morgan in telling everyone that Bitcoin is super, right? So anyway, maybe they're invested their money themselves, right? And Bitcoin is going down. So as well as JP Morgan, they're saying that it's a good opportunity, and they're calling to invest in Bitcoin. No, thank you. Now, Trump, the Dow Jones Index has reached 50,000 points for the first time in history. Congratulations, America. That was Donald Trump's message. Now, okay, so look at this. This is something that I was explaining to you before. January market recap. Okay, you could watch that on my YouTube channel, right? So I did observe January, same way, okay, going day by day and looking for different movements and understanding and obviously pointing and spotting opportunities for trading. Okay, but let's move forward. Shock of the year. Only Google and Nvidia outperform S&P 500. It would have been better to invest in Bitcoin in 2025. The loss was just 6%, while altcoins planned 90%. So Google and Nvidia, that's how much they've gone up, okay, in 2025. And S&P itself, 500, gone up by 17 only. The rest of the companies gone that much, as you can see. Now, moving forward, the portfolio of the largest Bitcoin holder, MicroStrategy, is down 8.7. So Bitcoin going down, and these two companies, Bitmine and Strategy, okay, their portfolios you see sitting that low because they're actually heavily invested. Okay, so they're in huge minuses right now. A bit more, and they're done. Okay, so they're pretty much going to church, I guess. Okay, and hoping and praying that Bitcoin will go higher. Now, panic among German businesses. So German companies are facing unprecedented weakness in their exports. So indicators have deteriorated twice as much compared to 1995. Look, the European economy in general is not in a good condition because of a very high, let's say, cost of energy right now. But yeah, this is just for you to know about German index in case you're trading that. That might be also a good analysis for you to read. Global central banks have been actively cutting rate for the second year in a row. So Goldman Sachs expect the monetary easing trend to continue this year. So you see, countries cutting interest rate, and this is obviously the trend in the market right now. So we're going and we're looking at 8th of February now. Gold has surpassed the US dollar to become the largest reserve asset of the central banks worldwide. So back in the days, gold was the biggest, let's say, central bank asset to hold. Okay, just in case. Now it's gold. So basically, they're selling dollar and they're buying gold. Look at this, February 9, Bitcoin price at 71, so it's gonna buy $2,000, right? 2,300. US dollar index 97, Brent oil 67, gold at 5,034, silver at 84, $80, sorry. Now, this is the beginning of the week, and you see another, let's say, calendar for the week, okay? And you see different events that would be shaking the markets by that time. So also earning season keeps going, and here was the report for the companies that would be reporting during that week. So, like I said, if you're investing and you want to be standing ahead of what is about to happen, then you could be taking advantage of that information that I'm posting on my channel. Okay, so silver reserves, global silver reserves by country. So you can see countries that have the most of silver reserves. So in case you want to invest, let's say, in a specific country, you know now the price of silver, okay, and you see that there's a huge demand, okay, on the commodities market, on the silver, on the gold, and knowing in which countries, let's say, the most, let's say, reserves of silver, you can also look into investing into that countries because if the silver prices are that high and they're exporting, it means that they're making money, right? Moving forward, CNBC called XRP the hottest trade since the start of 2026. Okay, I don't know. Let's believe they are right on that. British pound decline. Hedge funds are forecasting a weakening of the British pound against the euro and the US dollar. The pound has faced a double blow and remains under pressure due to active bearish investors' positions in option market. So if you're trading British pound like I do, okay, but I'm buying it now, you see, hedge funds are expecting that it's going to be going lower. Now, hedge funds and asset managers have begun actively selling US stocks, Goldman Sachs says, right? So that's another thing. But again, that might be just temporarily for some profit taking. Now, this is about Japan. The Liberal Democratic Party has won the Japanese elections under the leadership of Sanai Takaichi, according to the media reports. Now, why it's important? When elections happen in any country, it influences the currencies in that country, currency of that country, or the companies of that country, or different assets that are connected to that country. So if you know who won, all right, you can see the market reactions right away. So that's why it's important to follow elections and stuff. Okay, let's move now. Look, like this, for example. You see, this person, this what's her name? Sanae Takaishi, right? So she won, and you see Nikkei index rose by more than 4% following the decisive victory of Japanese Prime Minister Sanae Takaishi. The surge comes against a backdrop of stabilizing conditions in the United States and strengthening Japanese economy. You understand? So obviously this candidate was very good, let's say, for the market, and this is why the market gone up, right? If there was another candidate, the market could possibly go down. So knowing who is going to be elected, okay, or who has more chances to be elected, gives you an opportunity to trade it in advance. Now, JP Morgan raises its year-end 2026 forecast for Nikkei to 61,000. So JP Morgan has raised its year 2026 forecast for topics to 4,100. Now, these are indices of Japan. Okay, both of them, Nikkei 2225 and topics. Okay, so meaning that the Japanese companies are expected to go higher according to JP Morgan in 2026. So countries by oil reserves, okay, obviously Venezuela, Saudi Arabia, Iran, okay, Canada, Iraq, United Arab Emirates. So as you can see from this list, Venezuela, they were not friends with Donald Trump. Now the oil of Venezuela belongs to U.S. Saudi Arabia is a friend of U.S. Okay, so they are allies. Now Iran was not a friend, but look what happens with Iran right now. Okay, Canada, friends of the U.S. Okay, so they are actually they're good with that. Now Iraq was not a friend, but look what happened to Iraq. Okay, and then United Arab Emirates. Okay, they are actually friends of that. So you see, it's either friends of America, or if you're not friend of America, then you're in a list like Venezuela, like Iraq, and the top ones. So now you understand the ambitions of the US and oil, right? So oil is the blood of the planet, let's put it that way. Goldman traders believe the sell-off in the US stock it's over. It's not over yet due to the trend following funds recently received sell signals and are likely to keep selling. So here you see companies were going up, right? And they're expecting that it will continue. Now, orange juice prices have risen to 3 months high. If you didn't know, orange is also a commodity and it also can be traded. So the juice that you're buying in the supermarket and the price of the juice of your oranges, it depends on the global supply and demand of oil of oranges. Just so you understand that orange is also something that is trading as well as sugar, as well as wheat and stuff like that. Now, a thought of that day, 9th of February, money loves order. The simpler and the clearer your financial system is, the easier it is to grow and bring your peace of mind. By the way, this is exactly what I offer on my channel, first of all, the way that I deliver the information to you, first of all, right? I deliver that in a very simple way, and I call it Mickey Mouse language, right? Frankly speaking, because I'm just trying to explain trading in so simple so that you don't have this overcomplication. Look, working for the top global forex brokers for 10 years, I realized that people overcomplicate trading. Okay, they start different strategies, they implement a lot of indicators, right, and stuff like that. No, but trading is not that complex, right? When you understand the core of trading, the risk involved, and how to measure that risk, how to understand it, okay, only then you start understanding things properly and making money. So when you have your strategy, it should be very, very easy. You should know your risk and you should know the size of your trade and your, let's say, profit appetite. So if you go along with that, you're good to go. And that's what exactly I provide on my sessions. Okay, so if you're looking to learn trading for a living, okay, you can do that by going and checking. Wait a second. Here we go. Right. So I provide one-to-one mentorship on trading forex and CFDs. Okay, how to beat your broker. And I have my web page where you can go and check about me, first of all, who I am, what I do. Okay, and then of course you can go and sign up there with me and just leave your let's say a message to get in touch with you, because I'm offering one-on-one Zoom sessions, and the first one is going to be free of charge. There you're going to understand if trading is for you. I will ask you questions, I will understand your backgrounds, I will understand your financial state, and I will give you good recommendations where to start, how to start, and of course, how to make money in case you're looking to make that, I mean, trading, and if you're taking it seriously, okay? So this is where I advise you to go and check on me, okay, and the packages that I offer. But now we're gonna go back again, okay, to discuss the markets, okay, and we're gonna continue with Telegram. Now it's 10th of February. Bitcoin price 67,000, gone down by 1,200. Okay, US dollar index 96, also gone down. Right, then Brent oil $68 and gold 5,046. Now, what is that? Largest Bitcoin holders in 2025, the largest cryptocurrency holders will accumulate approximately 40 billion worth of Bitcoin. Right. So these are the biggest holders of Bitcoin, right? That's you can also see now they're in a big trouble, right? Because Bitcoin is down. Let's move forward. Interest payments on the U.S. national debt are skyrocketing, okay, into the stratosphere. That's something that we mentioned previously. Okay, the debt is rising, and the interest rate on that, of course, is increasing as well. So they need to pay more and more. Now the Fed balance sheet is growing again, and it very rapidly. So the Fed turned on the printing press on December 1st. So since December 1st, 2025, they keep printing money and injecting it into the financial system. UBS has downgraded the US IT sector due to concerns over the extremely high AI spending. So, according to the UBS, capital expenditures by major cloud companies this year could reach an astronomical 700 billion, right? So it's a lot of spending. It means that they spend a lot. There's no return much. Okay, Cooper deficit to increase by 24% to by 2040. So again, Cooper as a commodity, a great opportunity for you to invest for the long run, right? If you're investing in commodities. Now, don't wait for the perfect moment. Make this moment better. Every day can be turned into a step toward the life you want to live. That's the thought of the day. February 11. Okay, February 11, and we see Bitcoin, it's a 68,300, gone up by 1,500. Okay, you can see Brent oil at $69, so it keeps increasing. Gold is going by 50, by five, $50 going to 5,081, right? Silver $82. Now, investing and forex trading explained simply. Okay, the very young, for the very young. Okay, so look how it works. I'm just gonna leave it like this from the beginning. Okay, let us start. So you put a small amount to get started. Let's say you're to $50. You make a little bit of money. Okay, and you withdraw some money, and then you say, okay, well look, I just made some money. Why not to put more? And then you start putting more and more money. Okay, because you just found a holy grail that made you some money, and you put everything, and what happens later? That's it. Okay, your account is closed, blow up. So that's how the forex works indeed. Okay, or trading works indeed. So when you obviously going and putting a lot of money because you're so encouraged, let's say, all right, because of a small, let's say, profit you made, and you do it like this small kid does. That's what usually happens. Now, let's move forward. GBP buy now. Okay, recommendation AUD JPY sell now. Okay, signal to sell. AUD NZD sell now. AUD Canadian buy now. Okay, so that was the number of signals I was providing on the 11th of February. So, like I said, if you want to trade signals, just follow me on my Telegram. I post the signals that you can trade every day. Now, the 58 billion weight loss drug market in one chart. So now you're probably aware of this weight loss, Ozempic, okay, GLP-1 drugs, okay, that allow you to drop weight loss, right? And it's actually the market of 58 billion. Nova Nordics is taking 56% of that. Ozempic is 31%, and there's some other ones, right? Majora, 23%. So they actually 58 billion market, okay, and all these companies taking their share of that, okay, and you can see who are the biggest ones there. Now, since the start of 2026, corporate insiders have been selling US stocks at the fastest pace in 5 years. So it means that the US stock market was at the stage when they were selling a lot, okay, of the US stocks. However, it's all temporary because the US stock market was going up, and it was again the time of profit taking, so called. Silver becomes the second largest global asset. Okay, so silver now surpassed Nvidia in the market capitalization. So it gold, silver, and then Nvidia, Apple, Alphabet, and Microsoft going one by one with regards to their capitalization, right? Now, BMW is recalling hundreds of thousands of vehicles worldwide due to the fire risk. Now, when companies like automotive companies, for example, okay, when they recall a lot of companies, a lot of cars, sorry, for any default or something, just understand it is that it's going to cost a lot of money for companies to do that, okay, to recall the cars, all right, to change something, to fix something. So it means that it's a lot of expense, and usually it's triggers the company's prices to go lower, right, to drop. Now, moving forward, 12th of February. Sorry, okay. Truth causes pain to everything that is illusionary. Well, yeah, you always have to keep that in mind, okay, especially when you trade, when you don't want to give yourself, right, how to explain that, right? Like me, for example, I can say myself. So sometimes you're trading, okay, and you see that your trade is going wrong, and you sometimes you cannot admit that your ego cannot admit, or you're still doubting that okay, maybe it's going down now against me, but I still believe that it's going there. So yeah, the truth, right? And the truth is when you start analyzing why the price is going down or up, then the truth is actually getting you back in reality and telling you, hey, but the price is going there for a reason. So that's why the truth, right, needs to be, taken in advantage, right, in consideration. All right, moving forward. Okay, 12th of February, Bitcoin is at 67,000. Gold is at 5,079. Okay, and then Brent at $69. Okay, Trump has ordered the purchase of 200 billion in mortgage bond with the aim of reducing mortgage interest rates. Analysts warn of potential new credit bubble forming. Trump buys 200 billion of mortgage bonds. So you see, again, another bubble may be coming. Okay, keep that in mind. Now, uh, I was doing the observation of the market on the 12th of the February on Thursday. So, like I said, subscribe to me on my YouTube. When something happens in the market, I go there and I just provide you with information that will give you an opportunity to take advantage of some movements that can possibly make you some good returns. Okay, now US defense stocks are surging at the open after Trump stated that the US military budget for 2027 should be $1.5 trillion. So you see, they are pumping into the military budget, $1.5 trillion dollars, and that's why the companies that defense stocks that are involved in producing, they're going to be receiving a lot of money. That's why their price is going up that much. Now, Peter Navarro, okay, the escalation of trade wars and tariffs is increasing global uncertainty, boosting the appeal of gold, silver as safe haven asset in the face of political and trade risk. Okay, so again, the dollarization and supply chain disruption, the risk of stagflation in the US, the fiscal risk, and the rising US governmental debt, all that creates an opportunity for you to buy gold and buy or buy silver, let's say, because they're expecting to continue to rise in the market. Okay, now experts at Chris Cut state that for the first time in record history, global data shows no new gold discoveries for two consecutive years, 2023, 2024. This has never happened before. And this is not unique to gold. Major discoveries of most metal deposits have dropped to single digits, and there are no significant projects in development that could meaningfully alter the global supply curve. Experts believe this data indicates that global metals market are still in the early stage of massive bull super cycle. You understand what it means, right? So this means that there is no much of places from where they can take gold anymore. So it means that it limits the places to where they're now, to that mines. But the mines are also not something that you can do forever, right? They're also getting exhausted at some point. So it means that there's a less and less supply of gold is coming. So you can understand. So the less supply, the higher is demand. Okay, so that might be a good opportunity for you to take an advantage. 12th of February, the US stock market dropped down. You see, the whole market is in red. Okay, that's how it started. And look at extreme fear persists in crypto. It dropped down to 5. When we started, it was at 15, if I'm not mistaken. Right now, it's at 5. Right, so low. And you can see down the global economic policy uncertainty index remains at record high. You see the fear and greed index down. Right, it means like very extreme, and it's extreme because of the huge uncertainty in economic, right? Now, the thought of the day: money loves order. The simpler and the clearer your financial system is, the easier it is to grow and bring your peace of mind. Nothing to say on top. 13th of February, so we're coming to a middle of February. $66 for $60,000 for Bitcoin, dropped down by 1,000. All right, US dollar index 96, Brent oil $67. Right, gold $5,000, silver 76. Bitcoin could drop to 49,000 as early as this year. So this scenario is being priced in by culture traders. So you see, they're expecting that Bitcoin may drop down to 50,000, right? And we go down according to macro micro. The global average break even cost for mining BTC is currently at around 84,000. So to get, to mine, to receive, right, to extract, let's put it that way, if you don't understand how the Bitcoins are produced, okay? So they need to mine Bitcoins. Now, to get one Bitcoin, right, to receive one Bitcoin, now on average, they need to spend $84,000. 84,000. So imagine, if the Bitcoin price now it's at 67, that means that to get Bitcoin you pay more money than you can actually get back later by selling it. So you see, JP Morgan previously noted that the average mining cost level has historically served as a floor for the BTC. So even when price fell below the cost of production, it was typically short lived. So it means that if it goes below the production cost, okay, it has a good chances to go later higher. So the production cost is 84, but Bitcoin price now, as you could see now, is 66,000. So now it means that the production is actually higher than the actual price of it. So according to what JP Morgan says, it may go back above 84. But do you believe in that? Put in comments below, by the way, where you expect Bitcoin to go. Okay, do that. So BTS is getting to the zone like in 2022 representation. So it's coming to the same level from where it dropped a lot significantly, and now it's at the same level. So again, will it drop? Previously in 2022, it dropped to 16,000. Now it's expected to drop to the same level, but it will represent 51. Okay, now major investors withdrawals assets from crypto funds. You see a lot of investors withdrawing from cryptos. That's what it's about. Bitcoin is that. So Bitcoin has been declared dead 463 times, okay? Since the cryptocurrency emerged in 2010, experts have repeatedly proclaimed its inevitable demise. Yet Bitcoin has resurrected itself every single time. So imagine a hypothetical scenario: if investors had bought just $100 worth of crypto after every such prediction, their capital today would stand at approximately 73.5 million. Right now, it's fitting a moment to add another $100 worth of Bitcoin to your portfolio. You understand? It's a bit of sarcasm in here, but what it means is that every single time they were saying that Bitcoin is dead, okay, it was coming back. And then, of course, if you would be putting just $100 every time you hear that, you would be sitting at $73 million. Imagine. Okay, so why not to take that in your strategy? Okay, maybe you don't want to put, let's say, $100, but if you're even going to put, let's say, even $10, then this would be what, 730,000 for you, right? If you wouldn't be just $10 every single time. Now, Brent oil price forecast analysis. So the international basically agency that forecasts the prices, they have raised the average price forecast for Brent oil to $57 per barrel, okay, and for WTI for $53. So they actually, they're increasing this forecast for $54, but this is already not going to happen because the price of oil is going to probably skyrocket above $100 today, tomorrow, sorry, all right, because of the war that's happening now. So over the past 5 years, gold has grown on at an average annual rate 19.7%. So for the last 5 years, gold is increasing by almost 20% in value, right? On average. Just so you understand, gold is a very good opportunity to hold it in your investment portfolio as a hedge against the risk and also for the long run. And now you know that gold is on a huge shortage in supply, and it might be a good opportunity for you to buy for yourself some gold for future. Now, Euro AUD buy now recommendation. GBP JPY buy now recommendation. GBP AUD buy now recommendation. Signals for a day. So if you want to trade, signals are there. Subscribe to my Telegram, and you have access to all that priceless information. Moving forward, grains prices have been rising since the beginning of the year. You see, soybeans, wheat, corn, so all that commodities going higher, and this is also an opportunity for you to trade, okay, commodities. All right, on April 8th last year, S&P was down more than 15% year to date, marking the fourth worst start of the year in history. But after rallying 37% in the ended of the year, up more than 17%, hitting the new all-time highs 39 times. So one of the greatest market recoveries in history. So S&P 500, as I was telling you before, 500 biggest companies in the US. What is good about this index is that whenever it drops down a lot, it creates a buying opportunity to buy the dip. And then when you go and trade it, okay, and you see that it drops, it creates an opportunity to buy the dip, and this is how a lot of people trading it. So if you was going to trade indices, okay, S&P 500 is also one to look at. Now, Apple stock experienced its sharpest daily decline since April 2025 yesterday. You see, huge drop down on Apple, that candle. Global central banks continue to actively buy gold through the pace of purchasing, though the pace of purchasing is slowing down. So central banks keep buying gold, right? Not as high as it was starting from, let's say, 2022, okay? But they keep buying anyway. So Goldman Sachs expects a gradual, this is 14th of February, right? So 14th of February, Saint Valentine days, right? So Saint Valentine and a happy Valentine. Goldman Sachs expects a gradual decline in oil prices in 2026. WTI 52, Brent 56. Okay, but we will see what's going to happen now after what happened with Iran. Sorry. The World Bank Global Economic Outlook. Here you can see the outlook of different countries according to to the World Bank. So if you're want to learn, okay, go and check it there. It's a lot of data there, right, to check. It's very easy to understand, by the way. First gold, then oil. Now experts expect a massive rally in US oil and stocks. So Exxon shares hit a new record high. You see, first gold, then Cooper, now watch energy. So gold miners, Cooper miners, and energy stocks are now skyrocketing, and this is an opportunity for you also to take an advantage. Fear and greed index at 9, right over there. Short positions in BTC have surged to their highest level since August. A sharp spike in short volume is being observed. Sentiment data and extreme fear in BTC continues. In simple, Bitcoin is going down. Now, for the first time since 2020, US oil production has showing a year-over-year decline. Would you like to combine that with what was happening right now? You see, the production of US oil and oil in US is going down, right, year by year. And the US now is actually attacking countries that are the biggest in oil reserves, like Iran and like Venezuela. So they basically seeing that they're losing oil themselves, they cannot produce as much as they've been producing before. What they do? They just go and capture like pirates, right? They're just taking someone else's oil, right? So that they can still have access to it. You understand? Crazy. That's the reality that we're living in 2026. So coincidence or not, the parabolic rally in gold began almost immediately after the start of the Ukrainian conflict. So when the Ukrainian conflict started, that's where the start of gold basically going higher, right? And yeah, it doesn't matter how much you earn. What matters is how much you can save and grow. So financial strength begins with the habit of thinking ahead. Nothing to add. Now, look, February 16th, that's a new week and a new calendar for the week, all right, with all the economic reports that would be giving in that week, and you would be in a position to take advantage of them or protect your capital if you would be trading. Okay, knowing what's going to happen in advance and what kind of movements would be there. Now, we are looking at 16th of February. Bitcoin, it's a 68,000, gone down by 1,600, okay, since last day. And then you can see Brent oil at 67, gold at 5,000, right? So the earnings season was going. That was the list of companies that would be reporting during that week. So you could go and check, of course, that companies beforehand and maybe invest even into that, because you see they beat expectations. When they usually beat expectations, the price of the company's gone up, right? And this is how you could take advantage of that. Now, Bank of Japan, Bank of Japan governor Kazuo Ueda has given a signal of a rate hike, okay, stating that the central bank will continue raising interest rates if the economy and prices develop in line with forecast. So that means that they want to, they are expecting, or they may be expecting an interest rate hike in Japan. Now, if that happens, Japanese yen is expecting to strengthen, to get stronger. Keep it in mind. So US dollar, Canadian dollar, sell now, an opportunity. Okay, Canadian dollar, Japanese yen, buy now opportunity according to technical analysis. NZD, Japanese yen, New Zealand dollar versus Japanese yen, buy now opportunity. So you could trade some signals that day as well. Now, moving forward, over the past 3 weeks, retail investors have bought 48 billion worth of the US stocks, a record inflow of this kind over such period, according to JP Morgan data. So you see retail flow inflows, right, of capital, retail investors, people just like you and me, but in US, right? So they putting their money into the companies, into the US economy. And Donald Trump really, right, cares about that. So that's why he wants the US companies to prosper, because prosperity of US companies is prosperity of majority of Americans, right? Because Americans invest in companies. Now, China is devastating from the US governmental debt. You see, top 5 holders of the US debt now. It's Japan, $1.2 trillion of the debt, UK, China, Belgium, and then Canada. So China is selling, right? At some point, they were the first, the biggest one, US debt holder, but now they're actually on the fourth place. Tomorrow, the Fed begins buying treasuries, effectively launching. Okay, so that's again 8.2 billion in treasuries tomorrow. Okay, nearly a quarter of 40 billion planned for the coming month. 40 billion of dollars injected in the financial system. What do you think happens to the value of dollars in this situation? Put down in comments. Okay, now Warner Brothers is considering reopening sale negotiation with Paramount. So Netflix shares could open sharply lower on Thursday. Now, Netflix wanted to purchase Warner Brothers, right? And now it's still ongoing, and you will see what's going to happen by the end of the month, okay, with that. But it's okay, that was a deal. When companies merge, one company that is paying money usually drops down in value, but the other company that is being purchased usually skyrockets in price. So it's also a sign for you as an opportunity to invest when you see this type of news. Okay, so keep that in mind. Don't be afraid to start over. Be afraid of never starting. That's a very good one. So every new step is a change to change your life, right? It's a chance. Sorry, every new step is a chance to. It's a chance to change your story. Okay, that's what it means. So yeah. Now Bitcoin USD, right? 17th of February. So Bitcoin is at 68,500, right? We can see oil at $68 per barrel. Okay, gold at 4,900, silver 75. S&P 500 sector since the start of 2026, the oil sector is leading. You see, the biggest 500 companies in the US, and the energy, materials, industrials, consumer, real estate, these are up. Technology, sorry, and financials are down. Now, what's going next? AUD USD sell now. CHF, JPY, sell now. That's the signals for the day. Okay. 18th of February. Bitcoin price 67, all right, thousand, gone down by $800. And then Brent oil $67. Gold at $4,900. Okay, then so leading analytical agencies continue to expect a large oil market surplus in 2026. So they're expecting that there's going to be a lot of oil coming into the market. The Indian household the reserve exceeds this combined reserves. That's how much Indians, as like normal, not just India as as a country, but Indians as people, they have more gold than all the countries together, right? Because Indians, they love gold, everywhere gold. Okay, on these festive seasons they all in gold. Okay, and so they're the country, let's say, okay, and the country customs or something. It's all about gold. Now it's another overview on Wednesday that I was giving, okay, a live session. So just again, subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you can get my live sessions, my live streams, okay, and check what's going on live. Now the top 10 of the world's richest people earn more than other 90 combined. What to add? 10% of people in the world, they earn more than 90% combined, right? Money. So that's very, very unfair. Would you agree with me, right? Money loves clarity. So clear goals, a well-defined plan, regular monitoring turns spending chaos into confident progress toward freedom. That's the thought of the day, right? Sounds quite logical. Now, a 19th of February, Bitcoin 66,900. Okay, we see Brent oil $70, gold 5,000. CBS and CNN report that the U.S. could be ready to strike Iran as early as this weekend, possibly on February 21st. You see, they were expecting it to February 21st, but we know that it happened yesterday on the 28th of February. Okay, so a week later, let's put it that way. Okay, now Israeli security establishment has declared the high state of readiness for Iran. Okay, so that's where the signs were already going from the beginning of the month, and then in the middle of the month they started to accelerate. Okay, and then you can see Brent oil started to go higher straight away. So the U.S. approaching war with Iran, according to Axios, the likelihood of military action starting in estimating 90%. Okay, so 90% was estimated percentage that is gonna start the war. Okay, and that was in the middle of let's say 19th of February. It was already 90% chances that it's gonna start, and it really started. So some more signals: Euro US dollar buy now, AUD NZD sell now. Strong close in oil on a new wave of reports that war with Iran is nearly inevitable. You see, oil now $70. Keep going. The level of economic and geopolitical uncertainty in the world is shattering all conceivable and inconceivable records. You see, uncertainty, right, and geopolitical and economic, it's on a huge level. It means that investors are so uncertain they don't know what's going on. Okay, Riva reports that shows that in 2025 there were massive changes in the structure of BTC ownership. Institutions, corporations, and sovereign entities accumulated while retail sold. So those that's been holding, I mean, retail like people that been holding some bitcoins, they were selling from through 2025 because the price of Bitcoin were quite high. But who were buying them? Companies, like we stated in the beginning of this session today. A lot of companies were buying cryptocurrencies on their balances, and now they're in a big trouble sitting over there. Now look at this: countries with largest proven oil reserves. You see, Venezuela, Saudi Arabia, Iran, Iraq, okay, Kuwait, and stuff, and other countries. You see, Libya. So countries, and U.S. Countries that either with U.S. allies, or if they're not with U.S. allies, they're in trouble. U.S. cannabis sector stocks are soaring today on news that Trump plans to ease regulation. So cannabis ETFs up 35%. Again, very good opportunity for those of you that trade, let's say, ETFs or trade, let's say, stocks. When you hear something like what Trump says about regulation is, you could take advantage and Obviously, if you're invested in cannabis stocks, probably you made some money. Now, 20th of February, so Bitcoin at the price of 67,000, right? Gone up by $364. Brent oil at $72 almost. Okay, gold at 5,000. So US dollar index 97, S&P 500, okay, 6,800. So the US dollar index has been strengthening since late January, which may indicate a risk-off sentiment in the market. Stock are stagnating. So many expect risk assets to fall in the event of an attack of Iran. Okay, so that's gonna something that's gonna happen. Now, oil rose 12% over the week amid expectations of an attack on Iran. So you see, oil gone up by 12%, right, in 1 week because of that. Cryptocurrency market historic low. You see the fear and greed index. It's 5, all right, very low. A lot of fear. GBP USD. GBP USD buy now recommendation very low, as you can see. Euro NZD sell now very high. All right, that was a signal for a day. And you see, there are currently 2,900 billionaires worldwide with a total net worth of 15 to like $16 trillion, right? Compared to 2.7 billionaires last year. So you see, those that had money, and obviously people with money, they keep generating more and more, while those that don't have money keep obviously having less and less. That's what it means. Now, China is actively selling off US bonds and buying gold. So you see, China is getting rid of US debts, of the US bonds, and they are obviously exchanging it to gold. So that's what you can see on this graph, right? Gold up and obviously bonds down, right? Dollar down. Moving forward, all right, further, the Fed pumped 18.5 billion into banking system over the weekend. Again, printing money, putting into system. OPEC monthly market output, right? This is now even irrelevant. They were OPEC were about to increase in November and stuff like that, but now things gonna be changing because of what's happening. So Michael Burry is warning again that U.S. financial market and the economy will collapse. Another signal, right, from this guy. It's coming that this might be a collapse in the U.S. Economy, in the stock market. Now, the most reliable investment is knowledge that increases your value. The more you know, the less you depend on circumstances. Would you agree with that? Okay, now the week in Davos ended with a sharp rally in gold, silver, okay, and a steep decline in dollar, moderate drop in BTC. So after the Davos meeting, you see gold gone up, silver gone up. A lot of uncertainty obviously happened over there. Now, sometimes it's enough to stop fighting and start accepting. Acceptance often holds the very inner strength we're searching for. Okay, that's the thought of the day. Largest buyers and sellers of the U.S. debt, governmental debts. So we covered that slightly already. So it's just the chart over there to see. Now, this is interesting. Okay, gold price dynamic of change. So the market consistently experiences fluctuations in the price of the precious metals. The price of gold depends on numerous factors and economic conditions, inflation, geopolitical. So you see, 100,000 euro in 2006, right? 2006 would be that much of gold. That's how much you could buy. And 2026, okay, look at how much gold you could get in 2026 for exactly the same 100,000. Can you compare that? Right? That's interesting, isn't it? In life, you only get a couple of chances to become a hero, but you can choose not to be a coward every single day. That's very true. Okay, now February 23rd, all right, we can see that Bitcoin 65,000. Look, it dropped down by 3,000. Right, we see oil $70. We see gold at 5,191, and silver at 87. So another week economic report, economic events calendar that you may want to always check, okay, before you start your week with trading, right? Then we move forward, okay? January Bank of America survey of global fund managers, okay? Cash levels in portfolio hits record low of 3.2%, maximum long positions in risk assets. Bull and bear indicators rose to 9.4%. and extreme optimism. So what does this mean? It means that the hedge funds and the investment investors, they're so much invested now, so they don't really hold much of their cash on reserves just in case. They just so optimistic that they keep investing whatever they have. Okay, so it's very important to equity allocation is at its highest since February 2022. Commodities allocation is highest since February 2022. Long gold once again became the most crowded trade. Okay, and geopolitical now is seen as the biggest risk to the market. AI bubble is the second place. So there's many things happening, and investors take that in consideration and putting the money in there according to the risk. Now, again, the reports of the four quotes are going over there. You see, Gilead is acquiring cancer drug developer Arcell for 7.8 billion, and look how much that company gone up in value straight away, 80%. So one is going down 1% because they spend money, and the other one who is being purchased is gone up by 80% because there is a lot of money going in there. Now, Nvidia's market cap compares the country's GDP. So, Nvidia alone now it's $4.6 trillion. So, Nvidia was the first and the only company ever to reach 5 trillion in valuation, briefly surpassing Germany GDP at one point. So, imagine one company is bigger than the whole German's economy, and you can see the rest of the economy is compared to Nvidia. Okay, now gold versus Nasdaq. Over the past quarter century, gold investment delivered an impressive 956% return, significantly outperforming Nasdaq index. Nasdaq is 100 biggest high-tech companies in the US, which is 465%, right, respectively. So meaning that if you would be investing, right, in gold and Nasdaq in the last 25 years, then you would be making almost 1,000% return on gold and almost 500% on Nasdaq. Now, crypto fear and greed index, again, extreme fear, 5, okay, very, very low, right? Let's just admit that. Now, first, build the habit, then the numbers will follow. Regular savings and expense tracking are more important than one time rushes. These practices build lasting wealth. Now, February 24th, Bitcoin is 63,000, going down by 1,200. Okay, then you see USD JPY rises nearly 1%, trading around 156 during the European hours. The pair climbed after Japanese yen weakened sharply after the Monishi Shimbun reported that Japanese Prime Minister, okay, expressed concerns about further interest rate hikes. So they expressed that they might not do the interest rate hike. And what happened? Japanese yen dropped down, okay? And you see US dollar gone up a lot against it. All right, moving forward, the the sustained rise in the US stocks is raising increasing concerns among analysts as the gap between the US stock market capitalization and the US GDP, gross domestic product, is shattering all convincible records. The profit indicator has nearly surged to 230%. So what this means? It means that it's a lot of signals, let's say, coming from everywhere that the market is completely overbought, overheated. Okay, but nevertheless, Trump consistently boasts about stock market records and has repeatedly stated that that he intends to keep the stock market at record highs and that the stock should continue to rise. The U.S. households are historically overinvested in the U.S. stocks, and they are voters, so they cannot be strongly disappointed. So midterm elections are approaching. So this is why it's a good opportunity to invest in stocks, because Donald Trump is like pushing stocks. He wants them to be at the highest level. You understand? Now, let's move forward. Germany IFO Business Climate Index, 88.6, previous 87. Now, the normal, okay, for that index means that the economy is doing okay. It's 100. So whatever is above 100, it means that the economy is doing well. Whatever is below 100, it means the economy is doing not well. You see, 98 to 105, optimism. 92, 98, weak growth or slowdown. 92, recession. Now it's at 88.6, so it's less than 92. So the German business is in recession. in other words, just so you understand what that means. Now, Meta will buy 100 billion worth of AI chips from Advanced Micro Devices. So Meta said that they will buy 100 billion for AI chips, and Micro Devices, okay, gonna buy 15% the prices, okay, of that company. Again, that is an opportunity, okay, to buy something beforehand. GBP Canadian dollar sell now, okay, Euro US dollar buy now. Opportunity to trade signals for that day. Now, Jamie Dimon said he is beginning to see parallels with the era leading up to 2008 financial crisis. And by the way, this is the CEO of JP Morgan Chase. So he is seeing the parallels of the crisis that was in 2008. And that's what we're saying again. 2026 might be a year when this is going to happen, and especially what's happening now. Okay, life changes not when you understand everything, but when you start acting. Even when you want to start trading, okay, you even when the small even the smallest step is more important than the greatest doubts, right? So life changes when you understand everything, but when you start acting. Again, I just want to try to explain the way that I understand it, right? So for me, for example, right, my life started to change when I really started to open some trades myself, right? Right in the beginning, it was 10 years ago. I was helping clients, first of all, to start trading, and I couldn't understand trading by the time I started to do it myself, okay? And the smallest steps, let's say, even if you don't have experience now in trading, but even the smallest steps now will allow you to actually learn, all right, trading for later, to turn it into possibly your primary and even secondary source of income. Now, this is a 24th of February. Bitcoin is a 65,000, gone up by 1,800. Okay, oil price is $70. Gold 5,200. Okay, and then look, commodities price forecast. Analysts at Bank of America predict a rise in commodity prices, including gold, driven by Donald Trump economic policies aimed stimulating the U.S. economy. So commodities prices are expected to go higher. So if you're expecting to invest somewhere, commodities could be a good idea. Okay, so check that, and take an advantage. Now, stocks at record high, FTSE at record high. Now, it means that the UK stock market and European stock market are at record high on the 25th of February. Now, Krypton. BTC price forecast by major investment firms. So major investment firms forecasting, okay, Bitcoin price, but it's like they're pointing, all right, into the air, right? And I don't know how to believe that forecast, so considering what happens to Bitcoin now. The S&P 500 has been trading water for several months now. You see, it's actually been there for several months, not really going higher. For many months it was going higher, but here it was basically staying there for quite some time now. Very much of uncertainty. Nvidia reports today. So Nvidia being the biggest, let's say, company in the AI industry, it's like a barometer. So if Nvidia would be reporting something bad, it could lead Tesla, Microsoft, Apple, Advanced Micro Devices, the rest of the companies that involved in AI to just drop a lot. Okay, but this just for you to understand how one company, being the leader, can actually pull the rest to fall if they're falling themselves. Now, we're looking at February 26th. Bitcoin price gone up by almost 3,000, 2,800, like 68,000 the price. Gold, 5,200. Oil, $70. Global oil surplus. Okay, so they're expecting the oil surplus. Foreign investors increased purchases of U.S. stocks by 130%. So you see, foreign investors were increased. They were buying a lot of U.S. stocks by 134%. That's how much it increased in 2025, despite any tariffs. Okay, that's why the stock market was skyrocketing. So now Cooper is attempting to break through. Okay, and Citibank forecasts the rally will continue. So the U.S. is stockpiling Cooper at record pace in history. So if you're investing or if you want to buy something for long run, here we go. Cooper is something that you may want to take advantage of. GBP CHF buy now. Okay, GBP NZD sell now. GBP Canadian dollar, so GBP JPY. All right, so Canadian dollar JPY buy now. That's the signals for the day. Now, moving forward, UBS forecast that's the Chinese index, right, rise 20% from current levels. So if you're looking, let's say, to invest in some countries, China, okay, according to the UBS, is having a rise of 20%, right? The Chinese index is going there. Now, money values discipline more than inspiration. Regular, simple actions bring a greater results than rare bursts of motivation, right? Now, that's the thought of the day. Okay, so we're going next. The 27th of February, Bitcoin price at 67,000. Okay, we see Brent at $70. We see gold at 5,200. Now, global gold demand is projected to rise a record 4,900 tons in 2026, marking the second consecutive annual increase. Purchases by central banks worldwide are estimated to reach a historical high level, about 1,000 tons, for the second year in a row. Funds investing in physical gold are expected to see net inflows of around 900 tons of gold. The world never seen to get enough gold. Again, that is for those that want to invest in gold for long run. It seems that is a good opportunity for it. Now, Oracle shares have fallen 50% from their peak in 2025. Oracle is another company that is investing a lot in AI developments and stuff. And you see, they came to a certain point in October 2025, right? And then they dropped by almost half of their value because it was a lot of concerns of like, are they able to repay that money that they're borrowing for that? Now, Citroni Research believes AI could trigger a serious economic crisis in the US by 2028. The forecast a 38% drop in the S&P 500, unemployment rising to 10%, and deterioration in the lending due to the mass layoffs from automation following the publication. IT company stocks fell. So what it means, they expecting that the economic crisis may be triggered by AI and by huge spendings in the US on the AI. So you see, the author suggests that replacing people with machines will reduce cost and lead to phantom GDP. Profits appear in reports, but not in the real economy. So every bubble begins with a new paradigm that is believed to justify rising prices. You see how these two actually going together. Now everybody, like companies, like okay, like Nvidia, something that we discussed now, all this Oracle, okay, they were justifying their investments, okay, by AI. So they are saying we are developing AI, we're doing this, we're doing that. Every bubble begins. So now it's an AI bubble. That's what they're expecting to happen by 2028. That this is the bubble forming now on the AI market. And the paradigm is that now they are justifying that this money is going to this AI. And this is again another thing that I told you in the beginning of this video. I said that's all the only reason, okay, that I'm discussing with you every month is because you need to follow this news every day so that you know what to expect, okay? So you get these early signs. These are the early signs. It's exactly the example of the early signs that you need to know in to have in your mind. So, for example, how do I understand that? I am saving some money. I'm saving some money to have some reserves. And by the time the market is going to drop down again, and it will, eventually it will, it always does, okay? It did that already many times. But every single time the market drops down, let's say economic crisis, it creates an opportunity to buy the dip. And many people go and do that. Why do you think the market prices after skyrocket? Because people go and buy the dip. So everything is temporarily. So even if something's gonna go down a lot, okay, it's gonna have a good opportunity to buy later. So as an investor, you may want to take this as the first signs and start taking some actions. Let's say start saving some money. And by the time the crisis will happen, you will go there with some capital and start buying the dip, right? And become rich overnight. Crypto fear index gone to 11%. Okay, and that was on the 28th of February. And look what happened. 28th of February, Israel has carried out a preemptive strike on Iran. Israeli Defense Ministry cuts. Okay, so this is where Iran and Israel started the war, and it was the last. It was basically yesterday, 28th of February. Okay, you can see OPEC has already scheduled a meeting for Sunday to consider resuming oil production increase after 3 months pause, right? And again, they need now to increase the production because there's going to be a shortage. It might be a shortage in the in the production of oil in Iran. So talks have started about Strait of Hormuz, $100 or $200 for oil monitoring. So they are expecting to close the Hormuz, right? Where the ships are passing Iran. Yesterday, I was giving that live session, right, explaining what's going on and showing obviously what needs to be checked and how to consider your running, let's say, capital invested already. If you have something, what's going to happen to it once the market will open tomorrow. So I did a live trading session yesterday. So check that as well, just to understand, all right, what's going on, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, like I said before. Now, the US has deployed its Space Force, Air Force. So you see it. So it's all about, okay, now a war going there. I hope that is not going to last long. I'm in Cyprus and we are very close to it. Today, we heard the news that there was some missiles going towards our base, Akratiri base here in Cyprus. In Limassol, we have a British base, and then they say that some strikes were going there. They didn't succeed, but yeah, it's a very dangerous situation. I really hope that it's gonna stop very soon. Okay, and people are not gonna continue dying, because a lot of people dying now because of that, and it's very bad. Right? You see how much the exchange rate of the Iranian rial has changed sharply, and you see for one Iranian rial, it's $0. So it costs nothing, right? So Iranian rial now costs absolutely nothing. It's unbelievable, right? Now the U.S. and Israel. That is the already today. That's the 1st of March. I'm not gonna go now, right, and explain to you what's happening on the 1st of March, because it's gonna be the beginning of the next, let's say, video that I will be recording by the end of March, how the March will be starting. And as you can see, March is starting now with a new war. And now we're going to be looking what's going to happen during this month, during March, and how it's going to end up and where the prices will be by the end of this month. So what I suggest you, so that you basically succeed in your trading, right, is just to know what is going on. And in order for you to know what's going on every day, subscribe to my Telegram channel. Okay, subscribe to my Telegram channel over here. And on my Telegram channel, where I'm posting the news every day, you will be always in a position to know what is about to happen. And this month is going to be bringing a lot of volatility, and it's going to be bringing a lot of opportunities for people to trade and for you to possibly choose something to invest money in. Now, I want you to subscribe to me on my Telegram, on my YouTube, so that you don't miss anything. And if you want to take advantage of my if you want to take advantage of my academy, then I want you to go and check my webpage, right? At my webpage. I'm providing one-to-one mentorships, right, sessions over Zoom, and take advantage of that, okay, and apply there. First session is free of charge, so that we can meet together face to face and understand what are you expecting to achieve in Forex, in trading in general, in investing, and I will show you the right way to go. Okay, so this is it for today. Okay, I'm really happy that I was able to give you that session today. It's actually very long, so I will probably gonna cut it for small pieces, and then obviously split it in different in different social medias that I have. Okay, and you just subscribe here, so you have access to the full video as well every single time. Now, in case you have any questions, in case you need any assistance, okay, please put your comments below. I'm gonna be reading them, and I'm gonna be replying to you directly on this comment. So if you need any assistance, any help, anything you need to clarify, let me know. Okay. So this is it for today. I really hope that you're in a safe. Okay. I really hope that this month is not gonna bring, let's say, anything bad to the world, because you never know what can happen. The third world war can happen from this, basically this conflict on Middle East. So I hope that is not going to happen, and we're going to be all good and all healthy, all right, by the end of this month. Okay, I wish you all the best. And like I said, let's be in touch. Okay, have a wonderful Sunday today. I hope you're going to be in a good place by the end of the month. Bye bye for now.